So I'm Tim Swast. I was talking to a few of you last night and kind of realized a lot of my side projects kind of fit into this 90s aesthetic idea. And I just wanted to share a little bit why that appeals to me and why I actually think it's a good design constraint to put on yourself. So this is an example of some emoji that I've been working on. I use pixel art as kind of my primary art medium. And that comes with a few design constraints. So pixel art, it tends to be a very small canvas size. So in this example, it's 32 by 32 pixels. Could be smaller than that. Could be as large as 640 by 480, but that's getting up there. And then try to minimize as few colors as possible. And these design constraints are kind of rooted in the past. So past computers could only display 16 colors, 256 colors. So kind of limiting yourself to that is kind of an homage to that past. But the thing that really, the reason that so many artists keep doing it, even though our computers can display billions of colors now, it's a very approachable art style to get into as an artist. I would not feel as comfortable stepping in as an artist publicly online if I had to do an oil painting. None of my early works would have made it public. But with pixel art, I can start at a very small canvas size, and there's only so much you can do with it. So it's really approachable, and it can really, empower people to make things and get involved. The next piece that the 90s aesthetic kind of makes its way into my life is through the indie web. So I have a personal blog with a personal domain, and I've kind of stepped beyond those constraints, like my website, my content, and kind of added some additional constraints to myself. So all of my websites, all my personal blog is just static HTML files. And the reason I started doing this is a few reasons, but one, the big one, is I was doing a master's degree in mathematics. Our professors had us read some content that was on the web that was first authored in the 90s. And, this was 20 years later, and the content was still there and still looked just like it did in the 90s. And I thought to myself, how much content have I lost because, GeoCities was shut down or whatever. I want my content to last that long and to be just as relevant. And I care that people see my ideas and maybe are influenced by them. I don't particularly care how they see it. So this is bare bones, handwritten, just HTML text that I wrote basically as HTML. This kind of chart shows I do use some tools to help because writing raw HTML is kind of annoying, but I do want the source of truth just to be that rendered HTML file. And once I have that, any edits I make to that are going to be edits to that HTML file. And yeah, if you want to peek behind the covers a bit, this is what it looks like. One of my posts, it's 30 lines of HTML, kind of the equivalent of a tweet. So anything above the title, I have a little script that injects that for each page. So, you can make little tools that help with this, but in the end, having, here's some content. It's not generated content. It's using tools to modify these kind of 90s styles, collection of files. And that kind of makes it simple, makes it last a long time. And the kind of punchline here is, You can't really see the URL bar, but this is all hosted on DAT. I could do a very similar thing with IPFS because it's just static files, no server-side rendering, no templating. Just anyone can download these files and see the same website. And if they care enough, they can save a copy for the future, and maybe my website will outlast me. But that's it.
Thanks, Sam. So